Man, I love a good cup of coffee. What do you think is the most popular drink in the world? Coffee or beer? According to several websites, it's neither coffee nor beer. It's tea. Well, I like tea, but I definitely drink more coffee and beer than I do tea. Coffee is the second most popular drink in the world, and beer is the number third, both behind tea. People are so used to getting their coffee instantly, they forget what a good quality cup of coffee is supposed to be. I'm gonna show you some of the methods that we use to brew coffee, and then I'm gonna show you the trade-off that we're losing in quality. I'm gonna introduce you to a product that I've found recently that just absolutely raises the bar when it comes to quality coffee. I'm super excited that you stopped by the channel. I'm Mike and you're at Delmarva Backyard. I do a lot of videos about food, specifically barbecue, beer, and product reviews. Today I'm doing something a little bit different just because it touches my heart. I love coffee and I want to show you this cool product.
First, let's take a look at some other brewing methods. Here we have the granddaddy of all coffee brewing, the old drip coffee maker. Now this is probably the most common coffee brewing method across.
Real simple. It squirts the water from the tub out through this little device and down over your coffee grains, and then it goes down into your pot. And then there's a little warmer down here that keeps the coffee warm. Very convenient, easy way to make coffee. You put your grains in, you put your water in, push the button, and you have coffee. So the big trick with a drip machine is to make sure you have the right ratio of coffee to water. It can produce really good coffee. It's very convenient, and that's why it's so popular. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but we have to play on the safe side with everything that we make so that people don't get sued. And it's the same thing with these coffee machines. They don't put out a temperature high enough to really extract the flavors of coffee optimally. You just don't have the high enough temperatures to extract the flavor out of the coffee to get its full potential flavor. So you've been living in a hole in the ground if you don't know what this is. The Keurig or Keurig style brewers came on the scene a while back, and they just took the convenience of the drip brewer and made it even more convenient, because now you had coffee almost instant coffee and the flavor almost instantly. I'm gonna call it an okay cup of coffee. I think it came onto the market because it did that. It gave you instant coffee, it gave you flavored coffee right away. It has its drawbacks. The quality of coffee, in my opinion, is medium at best. The water reservoir, let's be honest, none of us clean it like we should. So, how many floaties and things are going on in that water reservoir and in the tubing behind it? Probably don't want to know the answer to that. The Keurig does give you pre-measured out pods, so you don't have to worry about the ratio of coffee to water. However, if you think about it, the pod of coffee grounds doesn't change, but the water does. So you're just really diluting your coffee when you pick a bigger size on the Keurig, and that's really not how coffee is intended to be brewed. That brings us to my next brewing method, and that's the French press. So with the French press, it's a pretty simple system. It's just a cup, but the top is where the magic happens. Okay, so what we do is we put our coffee and our water in the bottom, and then we just push down. And this top here keeps all the grounds at the bottom, and then we can just pour the coffee out of the top. And then we just fill it with water according to however much coffee we put in. The French press can be used for both cold brew and hot coffee. If you're gonna do hot coffee, you put in hot water and you let it brew for about 5 to 6 minutes. Cold coffee, you just put in cold water and let it sit overnight. So I would put the top on, and then I would let it sit overnight, and And then the next morning, you push down, nice and slow. This coffee hasn't had time to brew, so it's not the color that it should be. If you left this in the refrigerator overnight for 12 hours, this would be an incredibly smooth and wonderful cold brew the next morning. Starbucks helped bring the espresso style drink into popularity. With espresso shots, we can have straight espresso shots, we have cappuccino, lattes, and all kinds of style of drinks. The cheaper machines don't quite give you the best espresso shots, but they still do a quality job as long as you know what you're doing. It's important with espresso to have a coffee grinder so that you grind your beans fresh and grind it on a very fine setting. Depending on where you get your information from, you put anywhere between 15 to 21 grams of coffee in your portafilter. You level it off the top, then you very gently tamp it down and give it a twist. And it screws back on the machine and you're ready to give it a little twist and you're ready to pull a shot. The most important thing about pulling espresso shots is the time. If you do it too long, you're gonna get a bitter espresso shot. Every machine's gonna be different and you'll have to do some trial and error if you're on a new machine, but this machine, the perfect shot is about 28 seconds. After you get that down, it usually doesn't change much until you change the brand coffee. Every coffee brand is gonna have a different time also. Now this is the beautiful part of an espresso. These are your two different flavors. You have the cream on top and then the bold coffee on the bottom. There's a lot of trouble to make them, but they're really worth the payoff. So let's talk about our last method, the method the video was created for. So the first tool we need in this method is a boil kettle. And this is a 1 liter boil kettle. So we bring whatever quantity of water that we're brewing up to a boil. This is the star of the show, guys. This is the Chem Ex. And the Chem Ex is a pour over coffee method. It's been around since I think the 1940s. And it comes with their own filters. And these filters are specially designed just for this to make sure they don't lose any more of the coffee oils than absolutely necessary, but they're specially designed to make sure that the coffee comes out incredibly smooth. So what you do is you put your filter in, and then you take a little bit of water from your boil kettle, dump it on your filter, then you dump that out. And then same thing on the ratio of the coffee. Everybody likes it different, however much coffee you're brewing. I'm putting 2 tablespoons in. I'm making 1 cup of coffee. And then you pour in the initial amount of water and you're gonna fill this thing up about halfway in the top. And then you're just gonna let it sit. And after about 45 seconds, the coffee's done what they call blooming. And then you just pour more hot water over top. Nice and slow. You do this nice and slow until it's all come through. And you're gonna end up with the smoothest, best tasting coffee you've ever had. Man, that is good. So smooth. So why go to the effort of using the Chem Ex? For several reasons. Number one is the flavor. By far, leaps and bounds, way above the rest of the brewing methods. The flavor is smooth, it's pure. The Chem Ex is the only method that the coffee oils aren't diluted in any way. It's just the true coffee bean flavor shining through. It's so smooth. I mean, I can't describe that to you. You just have to kind of taste it to know what I'm talking about. Number two, counter space. You can take all these bulky appliances, get them off the counter. The Chem Ex just has a boil kettle and the glass Chem Ex itself. You can put that in a cabinet or stash it somewhere. It doesn't need to be out on the counter. Number three is cost efficiency. I'm sure if you did the math, the pods from the Keurig or Keurig style systems are going to be probably the least cost-efficient way to enjoy your coffee. So when it comes to the other styles of home brewing, then we're just comparing quality for every dollar spent. And the ChemEx, you can't compete with the ChemEx, I promise you that. So who's gonna be interested in the ChemEx? For anyone that loves coffee, you're gonna be interested in the ChemEx, and you're probably getting ready to pull up your Amazon app and go look at it. Then there's the semi-coffee lover, the person that goes to Dunkin' Donuts and they're still pretty specific about their coffee taste. They want 2 sugars and 3 creams or whatever. They like coffee, they're specific about their taste of coffee, but they're not over the top. You probably should still go look at the ChemEx. I think it would be worth your while and worth your effort. There's a group of people that the ChemEx is not for. If you're the kind of person that doesn't mind grabbing your coffee off a warmer plate for 5 or 6 hours, then the ChemEx is not gonna be for you. It's not gonna be worth that extra effort. And that's fine. You know, it's different strokes for different folks, but for those other people, you definitely want to look into the ChemEx because you're going to appreciate what the ChemEx can do for you. Pull your Amazon app up, look into it. I promise you, you're going to love the ChemEx. I really appreciate you sticking around to watch the whole video. Check out these other videos over here. You may very well be interested in those also. The inspiration behind the videos is your feedback. And the best way to give me your feedback is to hit the like button down below. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button down below, and you can also leave comments. I can't wait to see you next time.